everyone, and welcome. Denny, welcome to our weekly broadcast from Facebook Live and now a podcast. I forget, last week, I am off today, guys, so pardon me. Last week, I just got a puppy, so I'm not sleeping at night. It's like having a baby. Brian knows about that. Last week, we talked about land investing and why we're even diversifying into some land as well. And today we're going to discuss 5 tools to help you score good deals, even in this crazy, crazy market we're in right now. And please let us know where you're watching us from. And if you have any comments, throw them in. This is not we talk to the air and there's nobody giving us feedback. So feel free to give us feedback. So jumping right in.
This is a two-way discussion.
Absolutely.
Fire your questions, yeah.
So in today's market, it is definitely not a good idea to pop onto Realtor.com, Zillow, or any of your popular websites for searches because, to be honest with you, they're behind. And anything that's one of the reasons, because anything that is even listed on there is probably either sold or under a contract or whatnot. And the other thing is, if they're listed on those places, chances are you're not going to get the good deals as getting them before they're listed, which takes a little bit of work. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, properties that are publicly listed on the MLS, you're competing with other real estate investors, you're competing with homeowners, and in this kind of strange pandemic market that we're in, where there's been a little bit of a rush on rual estate, and particularly suburban and rural real estate, and smaller cities, more affordable cities around the country, there's been such a rush on real estate in the pandemic that, even more so than usual, it's just really hard to find a good deal that's publicly listed on the MLS. So the best deals have always been, deals that you find off market, the deals you go create yourself.
Right.
But, that goes doubly during the pandemic.
And even I see it all the time, I work with buyers and they'll tell me, oh, well, you didn't tell me about this one. I just saw it on Realtor.com. And I'm like, yeah, that thing is about to close in 2 days. So it's just kind of old news at this point because things are moving too fast. But anyway, there are some really good tools out there that are very helpful in finding those properties that are just not to everybody else's site. So Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about one of those tools, Deal Machine?
Yeah, so to kick off our 5 deals here for real estate investors to score good deals, Deal Machine is basically a tool for driving for dollars that takes it into the 21st century. So it's an app that you install on your smartphone, and when you are out driving for dollars, and I guess we better define that. Driving for dollars is when you go out as a real estate investor and drive around the neighborhoods that you're interested in and look for properties that look either vacant or super run down and neglected. You look for properties where the owner is clearly not that interested in maintaining the property, right? So, absentee landlords, right? Or people that have just kind of abandoned these properties. These are people who are ripe for a lowball offer because the property is just sitting there costing them money in many cases. So, driving for dollars, you drive around and you just write down a list of all of the different addresses that you see that look like they could be abandoned or vacant or run down, where the owner is just not taking very good care of them. And then historically, you would go home and you would look up in public records the owners of those various properties, and then you would send them a letter.
Which all of that is not even as easy as Brian is making it right now. It's not like you just call this one and it's like being transferred over here and over there and everywhere else. So go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
Well, it does help that, those public records are online now, but Deal Machine, this app makes it way easier. So there's a camera function in the app. When you see a property that looks like it's a good potential deal, you snap a photo of it with your phone, and the app combines the photo with your GPS data from your phone to pull up the address of the property. And from there, it will pull up the owner's information from public records.
That is so cool to me. I'm sorry. You just snap a picture and you get it all.
Yeah, so you get the owner's name, you get their mailing address. If they can find the owner's other contact information, such as their email or phone number, from other online records, they will do so and pull that in for you as well, making it way easier for you to contact these owners to reach out and make them an offer. Now, they actually take it a step further if you're willing to pay a little extra, right? I mean, no such thing as a free lunch here, but if you pay a little extra, they will actually send out mailers for you. They'll send out postcards to the owners, physical postcards to the owners, offering to buy their property, with whatever text you want included in that mailer. And you can choose from a bunch of autofill fields, such as obviously you fill in that person's name, based on like a spreadsheet that you upload or whatever. Or actually, they already have that information for you, so they'll just autofill all of that for you and send out these mailers for you. So they'll do everything, and then you just pick up the phone when when these leads call you. So it's super efficient. It's super easy. It does cost money. They do charge per mailer that you send out if you take them up on that service. They also charge a monthly fee as well to access the main functionality of the app. But super useful tool for real estate investors. Highly recommend it. Especially if driving for dollars is a tactic that you use to try to identify these motivated sellers.
Absolutely. Also, I just wanted to let you know that Edwin Torres is just saying hi, everyone, and he loves this real estate group. So thank you, Edwin. That's nice.
Well, Edwin, we love you too. So yeah. Please, keep firing your questions and comments at us here. Again, this is an interactive discussion. It's not a lecture. It's a discussion group, right?
Absolutely. Now, Brian, is it true? I heard this, and I want to know if this is true because I use more PropStream, and I know you're more familiar with Deal Machine. Does it actually tracks where you've been? So, like, I forget, so I would forget. Oh, I've been in this neighborhood already. It actually can keep a database or something that.
Yeah, well, it'll track your history of all those addresses that you snapped, right? So you snap those photos with the app, and it'll pull up the address of each one, and it'll keep a record of all those for you. So you'll know which neighborhoods and which properties you've already visited in the past. So yeah, it does keep that record for you.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So speaking of PropStream, that is our second tool to walk through with you guys. Denny, why don't you tell us a little bit more about PropStream and how it works?
PropStream is similar to, I guess, Deal Machine, but I like it because, first of all, it's nationwide. So, oftentimes we talk about if your area is not conducive for real estate investing at that moment and you want to kind of outstretch your areas, PropStream is great for that because you can get data on anywhere in the United States. So, and the amount of information that I've been able to see on that thing is amazing. Like, what kind
and that's
of
spoken as a realtor too.
yeah, really.
Denny is a licensed realtor with access to the MLS.
And I hate to do this, but I'm going to say it. But my MLS system doesn't offer as much information as PropStream in a lot of ways. Like they'll tell you what liens there are, some cases how much the lien is, bankruptcies, is it an auction, pre-foreclosure, you get the owner's names, you can find out if it's rented or if it's not rented, if it's, has equity or high equity, low equity. So there's so much information. So if you're somebody who, what's that robot that's like more info? If you're somebody that likes that, PropStream is a great tool for that. They also offer marketing, and they will send out the postcards also, which is a good tool for any of these. And the other thing they started fairly recently is skip tracing, which is not only just finding like names and addresses, because a lot of people have PO boxes and whatnot just to keep themselves, somewhat hidden, but skip tracing kind of uncovers that. So you have, and it's a small extra cost, but you would get things like their emails, which in today's marketing, that's key. I mean, if you can find, you want to send out the mailers, but if you can send out 100 emails, I mean, that takes way less time. So there's a lot. I'm sorry, I go on and on about this stupid program, but I love it. So
PropStream is a very robust program, and it has a ton of tools. Helps you find distressed sales, whether it's foreclosures, bankruptcies, auctions, tax liens, divorces, any of these sellers who are likely to be motivated to sell quickly and potentially for a much lower price. And Denny made a great point a minute ago that PropStream you can search anywhere in the country using PropStream from the comfort of your living room, your computer. Whereas Deal Machine, you have to actually drive around and use it. So Deal Machine is great for local investors who are physically driving around, but PropStream gives you access to any market in the country. And in this particular 2020 housing market, there are some cities that I would never invest in because they're so overpriced and the cap rates are so awful in these cities. Whereas, in particular, kind of overpriced coastal markets.
mm-hmm.
Whereas, there are a lot of good markets out there in the South, in the Midwest, in the Southwest. So, yeah, being able to invest long distance with a tool like PropStream, and particularly to find off-market deals with a tool like PropStream, is incredibly valuable. So anyway, didn't mean to steal your thunder there, Denny.
Oh, no, that's okay. And that leads me to the next one. Brian, why don't you talk about roof stock a little bit?
Well, that's a great segue there. So Roofstock is designed specifically to help long distance real estate investors buy out of state, or at least long distance within their own state, or even from overseas. So I think the statistic that they released, this is going back a year or two, but they were saying that 62% of the transactions on their platform are buyers who live at least 1,000 miles away from the property that they're buying. So It really is designed for helping long distance turnkey rental property investors buy these properties sight unseen. And it is designed to give you all of the information that you need to be able to make an informed decision about these properties without ever having stepped foot in them yourself.
And sight unseen buying is a whole new thing that's very popular right now.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, in the pandemic, certainly.
Right.
But it's also, even before the pandemic, that was rising. The numbers on the percentage of real estate transactions that were sight unseen had been steadily rising for the last 6 or 7 years. So, people just feel that much more comfortable with technology, and the technology's gotten better, right?
Right.
And Roofstock is actually a perfect example of that. So when you look at listings on Roofstock, you can pull up the home inspection reports, all of the neighborhood appreciation and housing price data going back, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, and you're going back a long time. And it also has an algorithm that projects future appreciation, which is of course not guaranteed, but it's nice to have a little bit of these extra projection data. It gives you information about the school districts and the quality of those school districts. I mean, it just gives you endless information about these properties to help you make an informed decision, help you do your due diligence without actually having to walk through the property yourself.
And that saves time. And time is important. And,
I realize that I've been kind of talking about Roofstock as if you guys know what it is. So maybe it's worth rewinding the clock for 1 second and just explain that Roofstock is a platform, kind of like an eBay or an Amazon, designed to be a peer-to-peer selling program or platform where real estate investors or landlords can sell their rental properties. They can list them on this platform and sell them to other real estate investors, with the idea that there is so much transparency involved that you can do your due diligence without actually having to physically see the property.
Right.
So it's a peer-to-peer selling platform for turnkey rental properties. And we do have a link to that as well, which looks like
it's in there.
Denny shared. Okay, and we've got a question here from Shakidra Scott. She said, what was the name of that one? So if you're referring to the platform we were just talking about, it's Roofstock. And there's a link that Denny just added there to Roofstock as well. They are a partner of ours, fair disclosure. Several of these platforms are partners with us. Not all of them, but it's fair disclosure. So we do work with some of these people. And even the ones that we don't work with, we still, it's a small niche, right? The real estate investing education niche and, services niche. So, we all talk to each other. We all try to support each other when we can. But yeah, we all know each other. So
likewise, if you guys know of a tool, throw it in the chat or let us know.
Yeah, please do. All right. So Jenny, the fourth tool to help you with your real estate investing and finding and evaluating good deals, Renometer. Tell us a little about Renometer.
Renometer is a great tool because I've been in real estate for quite a long time, and I remember when we would have to find out what a good market rent was. That meant a lot of time and visiting other properties and just everything. Rentometer has kind of put that all also at your fingertips, and they're pretty accurate, I must say. So you can do it whether you have you want a city, a zip code, a region, or you can even narrow it down to an address, and they can pretty much tell you what good marketable rents are. And let's face it, I see people undervalue a rent, so they'll rent something for $1,000 that they could easily get $1,300 or $1,400 for, and then I've
thousands
seen
of dollars a year.
Yeah,
I mean,
serious.
Imagine if someone slapped you with a bill for $3,000 in a year, you'd freak out. And yet, but that's what's happening here is that people are losing $3,000 a year in some cases by undermarketing their rents.
Absolutely. And to be honest, the market's changing so rapidly that you really need to keep your finger on the pulse of it because it is changing. So what you might think you may not. So it's good to have a tool like this that really uses the data that's available and puts it together and really gives you some good, strong information. And then the other thing is you don't want to overprice yourself because then you're still losing money because now you're going to sit on the market with an overpriced rental.
Vacancy.
And right. So it's a good tool to definitely keep you on target. And, you want to make sure you're getting the optimum amount of rents in, and you don't want to be sitting on too much of vacancy, right, Brian? Because then when you plug your numbers into the rental cash flow calculator, which you can take that one on.
You're on top of all these segues today. So before we jump into the fifth and final tool, to help you calculate your cash flow, I just want to add one or two comments about Renometer. So you plug in the address, and they will give you a rent estimate based on their market data, and it's normally accurate within $100. So it's not perfectly accurate, but it gives you a good frontline data. So you can, it's not the be all end all. You don't want to buy a property without researching the rent further, through tools like Zillow or Trulia. But it's a great, quick, instant estimate for the rent to help you just evaluate whether a property is even worth researching further. And they also do compile a lot of great neighborhood data as well. Things like the school districts and the quality of the schools, things like the walkability of the neighborhood, just some of this basic neighborhood data that's good to have. So
absolutely.
All right, fifth and final tool that we're going to go over today is it's our own free rental cash flow calculator, and it is 100% free. It's not it's not gated content or anything. You don't have to sign up for anything. You can just go to the website and plug in your numbers and start using it. But super, super important to make sure you have accurate cash flow forecasts before you buy a property. I mean, this is something that Denny and I harp on a lot, and it's because I lost so much money when I first started investing in rental properties by not estimating enough for irregular expenses, things like repairs and maintenance, things like vacancy rate, property management costs. What was that, Denny?
Management costs. I was just repeating. Yeah. No, because I see people that end up in the hole because of this, and it ends up hurting them. And then what was supposed to be a kind of a lucrative, somewhat passive opportunity becomes a hassle.
Becomes a nightmare. I know. Yeah. I've been there. So before you buy any properties, any rental properties, make sure you run the numbers, both the income numbers, of course, but also the expense numbers through a rental cash flow calculator. And that calculator that we have does include a mortgage calculator as well. So you can plug in the mortgage figures in there to get that as well.
Absolutely.
So, any final thoughts before we wrap this up for the day?
I just think that even if you're not out looking for something right now, it's probably a good time to check out these tools. So when you're ready to jump out, you already kind of know what they do, what they feel like. Most of them have some type of a free trial. Some of them are just free. And yeah, why wait until, you're backed against the wall and then, so prepare. Basically. And then next week, we have a special broadcast, right, Brian?
Yeah, we have a guest joining us. We have Becky Nova joining us from Lady Landlords. So she teaches women how to get started investing in rental properties. So we put together a case study article about her and how she and her husband have actually reached financial independence in under 3 years with rental properties. It's amazing. They started investing in 2018. They bought their first home, not even first rental property. They bought their first home in 2018, which was a house hack. And today they're financially independent. It's just amazing how quickly they've done it. So we're going to be bringing Becky on to talk about her journey, how she reached financial independence so quickly, and what you guys can do to follow in her footsteps and do the same thing.
Absolutely. So definitely tune in next week and listen to her great story. If nothing, it will light a fire under some butts.
That's right. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week, 2:00 Eastern on Tuesday. And in the meantime, send us your questions, comments, and topic requests for what you want to hear moving forward. And by the way, we will do another broadcast in a couple weeks on landlord-specific tools as opposed to real estate investing tools to help you find properties, like find and evaluate properties like we focus on today. We'll do another roundup on actual landlord and property management tools in a couple weeks as well. So something else to look forward to.
Absolutely. Have a great day, guys.
All right. See you next time.
Bye-bye.